Hello class, welcome back to another distance learning lesson. So today is called Transformations 1, Translations and Vectors. So the 1 tells you, hey, we might be doing this more than once. In other words, we are. Okay, so office hours, 1 to 2 p.m. This should be Monday. So Monday through Friday, I have 1 to 2 p.m. on Google Meet. If you need to see how to do that, there's a video that explains it. I think it's like how to use Google Meet or something like that. So just search that on the channel. Okay, so if you haven't done so already, take a picture of this or just start writing it down. So pause the video, copy it, and then I'm going to move on in 3, 2, 1, 0. Just to be clear, the expectation is that you are copying everything, as well as doing the problems when you're prompted to do them. Okay, so today's Chinese word of the day is 10点钟点. So that means start point, end point. 点 means point. So notice the thing that's repeated. Yes, that means point. So this means start, this means end. So please take a guess. Why do you think I chose this? So I believe Mr. Su chose 10点钟点because. And I'm going to move on in 3, 2, 1, 0. So remember, when I count down, the expectation is that you are pausing the video so that you are able to copy things down or do something that I'm asking you to do, such as take a guess as to why this word of all words. So seeing that you're going to do start to end, you might be thinking, well, translations might have something to do with it, or transform, because when you transform stuff, you go from one thing to another. So that's a start to an end. So might have been something like that. If you know what a vector is, then you might have said that it has to do with vectors, maybe. So just make sure you have a complete sentence explaining that. Okay. So let's move on to the lesson part. The first thing is, what is a vector? So it's a figure that represents direction and magnitude. So before I move on, I would like you guys to make sure to copy this down. So just pause the video and then write, copy. Okay, so here we have a graph. Basically, if we're looking at x and y in a vector, so a vector is represented by a ray. So that means you have a start point and then it turns into an arrow. So a ray is an arrow, basically. So let's start over here at 0, 0. If we go -2, that means we go 2 to the left. And if we go 7, that means we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up. So that's a bit more difficult to see. So we end there. So I'm gonna create an arrow there. I'm gonna use different color. And I'm gonna connect those 2 points together. And that's going to create a ray. So this thing is the vector -2, 7. If we start from 0, 0. So the thing is, you can actually start from other points too. So let's look at how that actually looks and what that means. Okay, so let's apply vector v from up here. So I'm going to call that vector v. So the point we're going to start with is that. If we have x is -2, what's going to happen then is we're going to have x, and then you're going to subtract 2 from it. With that 7, that's positive, that's the y. So we're going to do that to the y values. So let's work on that. So if we have 4 is x, then take 2 away. So we get 4 minus 2. What is the result of that? The result of that is 2. And here y is -3. and then we're going to add 7 to it. So remember, that means we start at -3, and then adding 7 means we go 7 to the right. And then figure out, what is that point? 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be at 4. So no, we're not going to get -10. It's -3, and then we go 7 to the right. You can think of addition as moving to the right. Subtraction moving to the left. So let's plot this. Our original, oh, hey, look, we don't have any numbers here. So let's make sure we write numbers on there. And again, if at any point you need to pause the video so that you can copy something, please pause the video. Please be responsible. Obviously, I cannot force you to do that. This is a video, so please know what you need to do and do it. Okay, so the start point is 4, -3. So let's see, 4, -3. That's our point. And our end is 2, 4. So if we were actually to draw a vector for that, we would do this. Obviously use a ruler. I'm using something called pen tool. It's just a Photoshop tool that allows you to make things like that. So yeah, that's going to be what that is. Make sure that you label these also. 4, -3. I'm going to call this thing P for point, and this is going to be P prime. So this means prime. Prime basically just means like a copy of, or like version 2 of something, the second version. Yeah, so let's do the same thing over here. The transformations are the same. So let's see. We got -1 -2 now. So remember, that's basically, we start at -1 and we go 2 to the left because that is subtraction. So that's -2, -3. Our result is -3. Then we have 5 plus 7. So that's going to bring us over to 12. All right. That's pretty nice and easy to work with. So we get -3, 12. Let's see how we're going to do this. We can make these each by 3s. So that's going to be 3, that'll be 12. And yes, even if you're not using all of these, I would like you to still write the numbers for every part. So -1 is going to be like, I don't know, what's a third of that? There-ish. 5 is going to be, well, that's 6. So 5 is like there, more or less. So yeah, something like that. So let's call that Q, just because it's the letter after P. Okay, then -3, 12. So then that's Q, this is Q prime. So we can go here to there, stroke the path, or use a ruler to draw. And then that is our vector right there. So if you do take a look at these two, they're actually parallel, but they're different sizes. If we get into vectors more in detail later on, I'll explain like why they're different sizes. But for now, just know that, hey, that's possible. Yeah, we got this. All right. I mean, mostly just because of the scale of 3 and 12 rather than by ones. Okay. Now we're going to try to find the actual vectors from the points. So here we have A and A prime. So let me write in some values for those. So for a, we have 7 comma negative 3, and then a prime is 4 comma negative 5. If you're wondering how I got that, we're reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 3 down. So 7 minus 3. So it's just practicing on reading coordinates. So we want to find out what is that vector then, the one that connects those. Well, let's look at what's happening here. So we have a point, and then we have a prime. So then that is 4, negative 5. So what happened to each of these? Well, let's see. In order to get to 4 from 7, we can do, let's see, minus 3. Because 7 minus 3 is 4. And how about that one? Negative 3. How do we get from negative 3 to 5? To negative 5? Well, we can go 2 to the left, which is minus 2. So if we do that, then that's what our vector actually is. So our vector here is negative 3, negative 2. Alright, so if you need to pause again, just please do that. I'm going to stop counting down. By now you should realize, okay, yeah, I got to pause when I need to pause. But also just one really quick thing. Notice also if we do this. 1, 2, 3. So that's minus 3, and then 1, 2. Minus 2. So that's 3 left, 2 down. This means 3 left. This means 2 down. Alright, moving on. I just don't want the video to be too long, because this is definitely going to be a long one just because of the fact that we're graphing. Alright, so now let's look at these. So the instructions say calculate the vertices of the image figure. So now let's get into some definitions. Preimage and image. So you need to graph what's called the preimage and the image. And you need to use the vertices. These are vertices. It's the pointy parts of a shape. That's a vertex. Those are vertices. Versus a circle, you have no vertices because it is smooth, there's no pointy parts. Alright. Preimage just means the original. Image means the transformed, the result. Okay, so now let's look at these. Let's try to get those points then. A is, let's see, negative 2, 1. I'm going to give you some time to also get those ones, so please pause the video, try to get those points. Right now I'm assuming that you've already paused the video, so I'll move on with it, just so that we're not wasting too much video time. So that's negative 3, comma, negative 2. And this one is negative 1, comma, negative 2. Maybe I'll use yellow for that one. Okay, so let's write our points here. Actually, what will be helpful is also to do that. So just write down the names of the coordinates also. Okay, let's do this one. So we have this. 4, 6. So that means to the x, we're going to add 4. And to the y, we're going to add 6. So let's take negative 2 plus 4. So remember, we're going to start at negative 2, then we're going to go 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, 4. So we get 2. Let's just do all the x parts first. Negative 3 plus 4, that's going to be 1. Negative 1 plus 4, that's going to be 3. Notice also that that's the same thing as saying 4 minus 2, 4 minus 3, and 4 minus 1. Here, we get, that'll be 7. Yes? Yeah, that's 7. And then, let's see, this is going to be negative 2 plus 6. That's going to be 4. Negative 2 plus 6 is also 4. Okay, so I needed a bit more space for this, but it's okay. I'll just make that space a little bit up there. So yeah, we got that. So let's graph this thing right after I create a bit of space here. Okay, great. So we have 2 comma 7. 2 comma, that's 4. That's like 5, 6, 7. So label that A prime. B is 1 comma 4. Then we got 3 comma 4. So yeah, sorry that I didn't have the space. I just miscalculated, obviously, but just, it's all right. Just do the thing as is, and then draw the stuff together. So as you can see, they pretty much look exactly the same. Obviously me not having the 7 thing just makes it a little bit off looking, but yeah, we moved the thing. And notice that if we were to basically take this to here, that's a vector. That is the vector 4 comma 6, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yes, technically, you could just draw that and like do that on each thing, but trust me, it's going to be a lot easier to not do that. And then it's going to be the same thing here also. It's 4 to the right, 6 up. And then if we do that with this one, this is going to be a little bit off just because of the whole, yeah, that thing. But yeah, should look like a triangular prism. So it looks kind of cool when you actually put them all together. All right, next one. If you needed that, just go back a few seconds, pause the video, copy it down. Okay, so now let's look at this. Let's find those points. I suggest pausing so you can get that. And then you can check when you get back. That should be 3, 0, 2, negative 2, and that's 4, negative 2. Okay, great. So we got these. And now we're looking for A prime, B prime, C prime. So you're going to have X minus 2, and you're going to have Y plus 3. Okay, so x minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. 4 minus 2 is 2. So, if needed, I'll write that there. Just to help whoever needs it. Then we have 0 plus 3. That's how we get this. You get negative 2 plus 3. That's going to be 1. So you could switch these and make that 3 minus 2. That's the same thing. And then we end up with, what is it? Negative 2 plus 3. And again, you can change that one also to 3 minus 2. Again, same exact thing. Then we get this. So now let's graph that. 1 comma 3. And label that A prime. 0 comma 1. Label that B prime. And then 2 comma 1. We can label that C prime. So let's draw those triangles so that we have the image and the preimage. Oh, okay. I had a feeling there was something off. Two comma 1. That's where that is. Okay. Anyway, now we can draw the accurate points. So that's also a quick learning experience. It's okay to get something wrong. Just make sure that you're thinking, and that's usually going to tell you, oh, I did do something wrong. And then, so you don't have to draw all these vectors here. I'm just showing you, like, you should get something nice looking like this if you did your thing correctly. Okay, this thing is getting a bit longer, so yeah. Now, in the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to try to find the vector for this. So, let's get those points then. Again, if you need this, pause, copy, move on. If you missed it, go back, pause, copy, move on. So, just teaching us some self-sufficiency skills. So this whole online class thing is, I guess it could be beneficial also to help you, because I'm not going to be there to be able to just hold your hand through it all. And, well, one thing that we are kind of trying to teach you in life is how to not have hand holding, because you're going to need to be able to do things without a bunch of help. And so I guess that's one bright side to all this. And I guess another bright side is like, well, if someone's trying to just distract the class whenever I make a mistake, just to distract, not to be disrespectful, then, well, that opportunity's gone. So also learning how to hold your tongue when you think that something's funny, but it's not an appropriate time. And then all the people that don't do that are like, yes, finally. Anyway, after I roasted a few people that probably didn't even realize it, let's look at this. So now what we can do is actually write the points to those instead of try to figure out the second set, because we already have that second set. This is A prime, so that is this. And then B prime, C prime, all that. And so let's look at this. What can we do? Let's see. So we want to find how many units is this thing moving to the right, left, right, up, or down. So we can already kind of tell, well, these points, this thing shifts this way, then it goes this way. So we know that we're going to have something positive and then something negative. So let's figure out what that is. So this actually is fairly simple. We can just use one of the pairs of points because all of them change the same way. You can check literally all of them. I just don't want this video to be ridiculously long, so I'm going to try to breeze through this as quick as possible. So you're going to want to take final minus initial. So end minus start. In other words, I think it's something like that. I haven't written this character in such a long time. Let me just check it real quick. Oh yeah, there's that thing. I knew there was something there. So Chinese characters, normally if you don't write them for a while, you kind of, like, you know what they look like, kind of, but then you kind of forget some of it. So 中 to 时. So end minus start. So let's just take the first one here. So we can do, for the vector, let's do 1 minus negative 4. So just final minus initial. Then we can take final 0 minus initial 4. So 1 minus negative 4 turns into 1 plus 4. 0 minus 4 is just negative 4. And then we get 5 comma negative 4. And this actually is our vector. If we check with the thing that we set up here, first is positive. Yeah, that checks out. The second is a negative. Yeah, that checks out. So this should be something pretty reasonable. Alright, again, you know the drill. Pause if you need to. I'm moving on. If you missed it, go back. And yeah. So, we do section. I'm going to actually just start doing it while you are doing it. So just pause or do it along with me. So the time for this one, I'm going to allow 5 minutes. Actually, yeah, just pause it. And then I'm going to move on in 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, first thing, let's label our graph with numbers. So we got 3 points there. So we're going to calculate points for the image. Then draw the preimage and the image using under a translation along this. So let's write those points first. Two, 4, 1, 2, 4, 2. Alright, and then we want this. So that is going to give us x, and then that's going to be minus 4. Then we get y, and that's going to be plus 1. So 2 minus 4 is going to be negative 2. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. 4 minus 4 is 0. Okay, 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so we calculated the points. Now we're going to draw the preimage first. So A is 2, 4. B is 1, 2. And then C is 4, 2. Alright, now let's draw. So we got that done. Now let's draw the image. Negative 2, 5. Okay, so it's like there. So, oops. I miscalculated again. But again, it's alright. And those of you that don't like distractions, it's okay. No one's here to distract you. Except yourself. If you are distracting yourself. So, now let's draw the rectangle triangle. And here we go. Great. If you need to, pause the video. I'm moving on. Okay. Same thing. Calculate, draw preimage, draw image. So let's do those, and then also remember to label the axis. I don't think this one's gonna go past anything. Let me remind us the vector is this. It's negative 4 and then 1. So we're going to have x minus 4, y plus 1. Oh, and then make sure to try this on your own also. 5 minutes. The fact that I already did part of this, maybe you can cut that down to 4. But do your best on this. And I'm assuming that you're going to pause the video. And I'll move on in 3, 2, 1, 0. At this point, I expect that you have already paused the video and tried this on your own. Now I'm going to do this. So, minus 4. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. 4 minus 4 is 0. Negative 1 plus 1. Remember, that means start at negative 1, go 1 to the right. So that's going to give us 0. That's the next number over. Negative 3 plus 1, negative 2. Negative 2. So we've calculated all the stuff. Now let's graph. 2, negative 1. 2, negative 3. 4, negative 3. So now let's put that together. And then label. That's P. That's Q. That is R. Okay, now let's get the image. Negative 2, 0. Negative 2, negative 2. And 0, negative 2. So that's P prime, Q prime, R prime. Connect them together. And we have our answer. If you would like to draw the connecting lines, that is perfectly fine. That's up to you. I'm not going to do that because this video is already getting way too long. I think it's already past half hour. Okay, so I'm going to do the next one. Again, 5 quick minutes. Do that, and then I'll give us our you do section. Okay, so just like with the last one, all you really need is to compare 2 of the points. Okay, that looks interesting. Yeah, one of these is off. Oh, that's 1, 2. Yeah, let me correct that real quick. This is supposed to be C. So, ignore that. Yeah, that is C prime. I mean, honestly, we don't really need it there. All we really need now is the points for A or B. So here, if we're looking at A, that is 1, 2, and then 4. 2, 4. So A is 2, 4. And then B is going to be, let's see, negative 1, 2, 3. No, I mean A prime, sorry. Negative 3, and then we go up by 1. So let's see, what happens to go from 2 to 3? Well, to negative 3. We can subtract something. That number will be negative 5. And then here, similar, how do we get from 4 to 1? Well, we're subtracting also. So that's negative 3. So notice we're going to go that way, then that way. So left, then down. So should be fairly reasonable that we're going to do minus minus. So the vector then is negative 5 comma negative 3. And if you literally just follow A, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3. So 5 left, 3 down. Okay, so this video is definitely getting way longer than I would like it to be. So pause if you need this. And now I want you to try these ones on your own. So again, pause if you need it. I'm just gonna end the video right here because it's way over what I would like it to be. It's like past half hour. Alright, see y'all later. Have a good day. Be responsible.